it's Dr. Shirley from the Southside Health and Wellness Campus. Welcome to the first 12 weeks of the new year, which is our series to transforming your health in 12 weeks. As you probably noticed, each week we ask you to go a little further out of your comfort zone. But of course, each week the results that you're going to get significantly increase. I have to say that this week I'm probably the most excited. This information will definitely transform your life. It certainly has for me and thousands of patients that we've worked with over the last 20 years. So what are we going to talk about this week? Liver detox. We have found a system that works awesome. Now, I will say that you certainly don't have to do our specific program. There's tons of stuff online that you can get, but the challenge with that is obviously you don't really know what you're getting. And with something like liver detox, you really want to have a practitioner who's very knowledgeable that can assist you through this. But of course, if there's any way that we can help you, we'd be happy to do that, and we would be willing to offer you a complimentary detox consult so that we can find out whether detox would be safe for you and, of course, effective. Liver detox is a process that you go through that helps to dump out poisons and toxins out of your liver. Now, what's your liver? Your liver is kind of like a garbage pail of your body. So you take foods and drinks and medications and things into your system, some of which are good for you, some of which are not so good for you. So what happens is your liver has to pull that all out. Let's use alcohol for an example. So if you drank alcohol and you didn't have a liver, you would die immediately because your body could not process all those toxins. After about the first year of practice, when I was actually at the end of the night after working about 12-hour days back then, I would just lay on the ground because I was so exhausted and my blood sugar was dropping. I just was not feeling very well. Then I stumbled upon my first detox program and it drastically changed my life. I have not gone back to that ever since, and now I periodically cleanse out my liver just to keep myself feeling well. Okay, so like I said, this is definitely not a fun thing to do exactly. This is definitely going to separate the girls from the women and the boys from the men, that's for sure. But I will tell you, it is totally worth it. But like I said, this is something you really want to do with the support of a knowledgeable practitioner. Number one, you have to consider medications that you're on. If you have high blood sugar, high blood pressure, this can drastically change your life in a positive way. However, you have to be careful what type of a detox you're doing because certain herbs and things can interact with your medications. So it's very important to speak to your doctor or your practitioner that might be familiar with it to get some good advice. The one that we've used for the last almost 20 years, basically we found a 14-day program typically is the best as far as compliance. There will be 2 different products that you will be taking. The good news is these products typically can be as little as $50 to $60. The first product that you're taking is actually pulling toxins out of your body, and then the second product that you will take, which usually kicks in around the end of the first week, will basically rebuild your body. Keep in mind that detox is stressful on the body. It's a good stress, but it is still stressful. So if someone is having adrenal fatigue or issues like that, it can be really challenging to do a cleanse, and you can actually feel a little worse after the cleanse instead of better. So definitely if you know that you have adrenal issues, then you might want to consult somebody prior to starting. Okay, so the first week is all about really pulling a lot of those toxins out. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to have somewhat of a limited diet. It's really not that bad, but you're really avoiding the sugars, the carbs, the breads, the pastas, definitely no candy, soda, things like that. If you can go without coffee, that's a great thing because the caffeine itself is a toxin to the liver. But if you're so addicted that you really just cannot give it up, we can work around that and we'll talk about your specific case. But if you can, you probably won't even go back to it when you're done because you're going to feel so great. Anyway, so the first week, you're basically focusing on a lot of vegetables. You can have some things like hummus, you can have some cottage cheese, some plain yogurt, you can add your own berries to it, maybe a couple drops of stevia, and then lots of veggies, a little bit of fruit, But you're going to try to avoid animal-based protein for the first 5 to 6 days. Again, if you're having issues with hypoglycemia or you just don't think your body can function without animal-based protein, we can work around that. We can customize a program specifically for you. You'll just have to let us know. But basically the whole goal is you try to go as long as you can without adding in animal-based protein. Why? Is it because animal-based protein's bad for you? Absolutely not. It is because your liver assists a lot in digestion, especially digestion of proteins. And the more you're consuming as far as animal-based proteins are concerned, the more difficult it is for your body to actually detox, because you want to take all of the stress off the liver, so you're just trying to support the liver, not make it work harder, okay? You want to try to do everything organic if you possibly can, especially any dairy you're going to have. All right. And of course, if you're going to do our specific program, we would walk you through specifics. This is just a general overview. And then by the end of the first week, you're basically going to kind of do an evaluation of yourself. How am I feeling? If you're noticing signs of protein deficiency after about 5 or 6 days, that's when you're going to start adding in some animal-based protein. So what are those symptoms? Well, there's tons of symptoms, but the most popular are these. Getting cold, so you're feeling cold when other people are not. You can notice an increase in some hair loss. Maybe your sleep was actually improving, but then all of a sudden it starts to get worse. Or if you were having trouble sleeping and it just doesn't seem to improve by the end of the first week. Other symptoms could include brain fog, like I mentioned, difficulty falling asleep or staying asleep, but also depression. Once you start to notice these symptoms, you're going to slowly start to add in some protein. Now, if you're feeling great come day 6, you're feeling great come day 7, 8, then all of a sudden day 9 you're not feeling well, that's a sign that you need to add some animal-based protein. You're going to start by adding in something that's a little easier to digest. A good example of that would be, say, a hard-boiled egg. A hard-boiled egg seems to stay with you longer, and it just seems to keep you feeling full for a little longer. So let's say you add in 1 hard-boiled egg and you feel fantastic. You start sleeping great, your energy's great, you're really feeling good. Then don't add any more in. Keep it just 1 hard-boiled egg every single day until that does not work. What you do not want to do is take that egg back out once you add it in, especially if you're feeling really good as a result of it. Now, let's say you add in 1 hard-boiled egg a day and then you're not feeling as good or you haven't improved. Then what you want to do is go to 2 eggs. Then if you have to, go to fish, then chicken, turkey, venison, things like that. We do want you to try to avoid red meat during this time. Again, I'm not saying red meat overall in certain quantities is bad for you. I mean, it's okay. It's not like it's a bad thing for you to eat. However, during the cleanse, you want to have easier things to digest, which red meat tends to be a little bit more challenging for people to digest. Now, there are certain body types, like the adrenal body type. These are the people that have trouble sleeping. They tend to gain belly fat. Now, if you do come in for the free detox consult, if you request it, we can certainly give you a free analysis to determine what your body type is, so that we can help to better direct you as to certain changes you may want to make along the way during the detox. But basically, what you want to do is add in the least amount of protein you can to get the desired result. What I mean by that, if 1 hard-boiled egg a day makes you feel fantastic, then keep it in and don't add any more. However, if you have to, just keep adding more and more until you get the desired result. That means you're feeling great, your energy's good, you're sleeping really well, waking up feeling rested, okay? And that's very important. 2 big mistakes people make with detox. They don't add in protein when they should, or they add it in earlier than they should just because mentally they're like, oh, I need some protein. Okay, you only want to add it in when your body physically tells you you need it. Does that make sense? All right, awesome. So that's basically the general gist of how our 2-week detox works. By the end of the 2nd week, you should really be feeling good. If not, most likely you didn't add enough protein. So as you're approaching that 2-week mark, if you're not really feeling good and sleeping well, keep adding more and more protein until you're feeling better. Because if you do this right, it's very life-changing. If you have medications that you're taking, you need to research very carefully to make sure that any product you may use, whether it's something from online or something we may provide you with, make sure it's not going to interact. Okay, so before we close, I want to review a few things that you could experience during a detox. Especially in the first week, you can definitely experience headaches and fatigue. Occasionally, people can definitely throw up. You can get some diarrhea. Remember, your body's trying to purge itself of all of this garbage that's coming out of your liver. And if your bowels aren't working well, so you're not going to the bathroom really well, then your body's going to try to look for ways to get rid of it quickly. And it's either going to come this way or it's going to come the other way. But the good news is it's usually just once or twice and it's not a big deal. As a matter of fact, any of the times that I've ever had that happen, I always felt much better a lot quicker. So I actually welcomed that. Now, of course, you have to be careful about getting dehydrated. So that's where if you're following our program that we've been talking to you about each week, you're probably already adding in the water with the lemon and the pink Himalayan sea salt. So that's fantastic to consume on the cleanse, especially if you're throwing up or getting dehydrated from diarrhea. The other common thing that can happen is people can occasionally get constipated, believe it or not, because you're pulling all that garbage out of your intestines. So if you have like a beet a day, that can really help move your bowels along as well. Smooth move tea, things like that. But again, that does have herbs, so if you're on med, you got to be careful with that. Make sure you look it up. Well, there you go. There's my summary on liver detox. Yes, this is a little bit more out of your comfort zone, but it will drastically change your life. Again, I hate to sound like a broken record, but detox, is a little bit stressful on your body. It is ideal that you use someone, a practitioner that's really knowledgeable with detox, to make sure that nothing goes wrong. If you decide to do it on your own, just be cautious and read as much information as you can. But either way, this is going to be an awesome experience. Afterward, you're probably going to feel like $1,000,000. It certainly changed my life. So again, we are so proud of you. We are almost there, just a few more sessions and we will be done. I'm so proud. Keep all these changes in because like I said, it will drastically change your life. And remember, you can do it and the failure stops here and we'll see you next week. Good job.